Hey, it's me. I want to talk about two important topics. And at first, they might seem unrelated, but they're actually deeply connected. The first is shame, a feeling many of us carry, often without realizing it. The second is how both pain and pleasure from childhood shape our struggles today. So let's talk about shame first. As you go deeper into self discovery, you might uncover things about yourself that feel embarrassing or painful to admit, even to yourself. Maybe you're ashamed of certain habits, emotions, or even needs. Sometimes we're just as ashamed of our strengths as we are of our weaknesses. At first, you might not even notice these hidden shames, but as you start doing this work, they slowly come into focus. And when they do, your instinct might be to cover them up with a mask, pretending to be the opposite of what you fear you are. There's a common pattern that happens. First, you become aware of the shame, and this can be uncomfortable. Then you admit it to yourself, but you might still struggle to say it out loud to anyone else. Finally, true healing happens when you can share it openly without fear. The level of ease you feel discussing these things, especially with someone you trust, becomes a measure of your inner freedom. The more openly you can acknowledge your shame, the lighter you will feel. Here's something important to remember though. Don't force it. If you're not ready to share yet, that's okay. Instead of pushing yourself into something that feels unnatural, simply acknowledge where you are. Maybe you say to yourself, I'm not ready to talk about this yet, but I will be one day. That honesty alone is powerful. The key is to stay aware. Pay attention to what still feels too uncomfortable to reveal. Over time, as you gently sit with those feelings, they will begin to lose their grip on you. Eventually, you'll realize that the shame itself was never real. It was just a story you were telling yourself. Now, let's talk about the hidden impact of childhood. Most of us have spent time looking at the ways our childhood hurt us, whether through neglect, strictness, or painful experiences. But what if I told you that even the so called good things from childhood can create hidden struggles too? For example, if you were overprotected, constantly praised, or always given what you wanted, your psyche got used to a certain level of comfort and attention. But as you grew up, life couldn't always match that experience. So, without realizing it, you might spend years chasing the same sense of comfort, love, and protection, often feeling hurt or angry when you don't get it. This is why both pain and pleasure from childhood shape us. If we don't recognize how they affect us, we end up repeating the past, either by trying to recreate what we lacked or by clinging to what we once had but no longer do. So, how do you apply this to your life? Well, you start by taking some time to reflect. Are there parts of yourself you still feel ashamed to admit, even privately? Are there things you did have in childhood that you now find yourself chasing or expecting from others? How might those patterns be shaping your struggles today? This kind of self reflection is not about blaming yourself or others. It's about understanding the invisible patterns that run our lives so we can finally break free from them. True healing happens when we stop hiding from our shame, from our past, and from ourselves. The more we can face with honesty, the more we can step into freedom. So, my friend, be gentle with yourself, go at your own pace, and know that the path to healing is never about being perfect. It's about being real. Love you. Connect soon.